What is up, guys? It is your boy NCSO7 here, and welcome to another review video. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Detroit Become Human. I know this game is a little bit old, like a few years old, but I first played it this year, and I actually quite enjoy it. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's what we're here to talk about today. And yes, I said we, because today, I am not alone, so say hello, whoever else is in the call.
Sup?
We've legit been trying to do this like 2 times beforehand, so we're hoping that this one actually works properly. So yeah, both of us played this game earlier this year, and we're going to be talking about this game. So since you, and we'll just call you Will for at least right now, you don't know how my reviews work, so the first category, we're going to go through this category by category, starting with the presentation, which is basically about the overall concept of the game, as well as the performance. So let's get started. Now, if you don't know what Detroit Become Human is about, it's kind of a Telltale-like game where you play as, like, androids and whatnot in a human society, and, like, androids can be seen as, like, kind of good and also kind of bad, at least in terms of the eyes of the humans. And it's honestly a pretty interesting idea. It almost kind of, in a way, kind of feels like, dare I say racism, but you can pinch in what you think.
Yeah.
It kind of just feels like they're treated differently just because they don't look the same.
Yeah.
They don't feel the
But
same.
like MCS was saying, it does have that Telltale take to it. And I wish more games were like that. However, I think this game is better than any Telltale. Only because the thing with Telltale games is they do have choices that give you different outcomes, but not every
Not all
choice
of
you
them do
make.
it.
Yeah. Perfect example is season 1 of The Walking Dead, where in episode 4, the end of it, Lee gets bit, and then in episode 5, you have a choice to either cut his hand off or not, thinking that it'll save him. However, either way, if you choose to cut his hand off or not, Lee will still die no matter what. So
Great.
that's something that always pissed me off, that, no matter if you choose to cut his hand off or not, Lee will still die. So that choice doesn't really have any effect. For Detroit Become Human, on the other hand, every decision you make has a different outcome. Like, I mean, everything. Like,
There's
this
like
game
a
has
map
like
and
so
stuff like that has like the diagram and whatnot. I don't know what it's
yeah.
called.
This game has like so many endings that you
It's
can
like the 13 Sentinels, except you don't have to get all the endings.
Mhm. This game has like so many endings that you can like find, and it's just. I remember I played this game actually earlier this year. I know I sound uncultured that I just fucking
For COVID.
started. Yeah, because I got COVID earlier this year, so there's nothing really else I can do besides play games. So that's what I did, and Detroit Become Human was one of them. And when I was playing it more, I was like getting more invested into it because it feels like I'm watching a show, but everything I'm doing is actually having an effect, like an actual effect, and the characters and dialogue and everyone in this game is unique. Like Connor is the detective,
And
Marcus
Kara
is the
is like the mother trying to protect
yeah,
the girl,
and
Alice.
Marcus is the rebellion. And then for like for NPCs, you got characters like Hank, another detective who played by Clancy Brown, also Mr. Krabs with
He's like one of
Stellar
the
Mouth.
humans.
Yeah, he's one
Well,
of the
you
humans,
couldn't
not the
tell.
android. But he is honestly my favorite character, and he's not
We'll
even
get
a
into
character
that.
who
We'll get
plays.
into that more so in the character and story part. We'll save that for later.
I don't want to say too much. All I'm going to say is it's a great story and great characters, and just overall just a really good game. And I'm going to let NCS take over.
And we'll kind of go like into the present, like the performance more so. This game is effing gorgeous. Like, oh my lord, like the visuals in this game look really solid. I really like especially like when you're like kind of like everything pauses and you're like investigating. How like you have all these grids and lines and all that stuff. Everything just looks so cool.
Yeah, the game has great atmosphere for every
Absolutely.
mission.
It can make some really tense moments really tense.
Yeah, like it feels like you're in an actual like show or movie, like a crime drama.
Yeah, as on screen. So now that we finally moved on from the presentation, we're going to tackle the story, which is probably going to be the lengthiest part of it because this consists of both story and characters. So, like I mentioned before, like you play the game from well, you mentioned it before. You play from three different protagonist perspectives. With
That's right.
Connor, you, and Hank, and who's the lieutenant. There's like a case you guys are like the two of them are trying to solve, which is like I think involving like some other androids killing other stuff. I don't fully remember if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, you're hunting down Marcus, another character you play as.
Yeah, and Marcus is like he was originally like he kind of got outcasted because he got blamed for stuff he didn't do, and then wants to like
He
make it
got
so that
blamed
way
for
androids
harming
aren't looked
his
down
owners.
upon.
He got blamed for either. So that's another thing. You can either get shot by the police because either you harmed your owner's son, or your son blames you for your owner having a heart attack. Because what happens is your owner, who owns Marcus the android, there's a part where they come home and his son is destroying his art room, and you have a choice to retaliate by pushing the son or just not doing anything. And then the owner, I think his name was Carl if I remember, gets a heart attack, and then the police show up and then they shoot you, and then you wake up in like this
The
dump,
wasteland.
and then you basically find like another robotic, you find robotic parts to, you basically rebuild your stuff, and now you're like on a hunt for like either
That
this is
part of
what I
the
like.
game, like when he's in that wasteland, it is really good looking. Like you
Yeah.
could just it's so Marcus looks so scary. Like with
Marcus
like,
has
when
like
it's like more
Marcus's
robotic.
story is like the most dark out of all three characters, only because of like how like you have the option, like it's because when you start to get your when you start to become a rebel and you start to like gain trust from like other people, you can either choose to seek revenge on humans or seek peaceful protest, which is really interesting. So you can become like because that's funny, because like Marcus can either become like the anti-hero who like Marcus can become like the hero who like frees the androids, or he can just all he can care about is revenge and just kill the humans. I like that. Like Marcus can literally become like Marcus would be like perfect for like a supervillain in just like any story, to be honest.
I will say though, Kara's story starts off really intense.
Yeah, it's more like drama to like it's really fucked up because people like deal with shit like this at home. Like there's like the daughter that Kara is supposed to protect. There's a part like early in the game where you will see the father beating her, and keep in mind this girl is like what, like 8 or 9. Yeah, I mean technically she wouldn't have it. Like I don't want to like spoil anything, but I think you know what I was about to say. NCS. I don't know if
we won't get into.
Should we
that,
drop it now
like,
or no later? Should we drop the spoiler later?
Nah, we'll just keep it a spoiler free because we didn't mention spoilers, so we'll just basically though like the girl gets beaten and then like Kara has to take care of her, and then they come across another android, which I don't remember his name.
Wait, is he the one that helps you?
Yeah, he's an android that helps you. I think he gets like the two of them into like the one house.
Is he the big guy? The big guy?
The big guy.
Luther. Oh, Luther?
Luther. Yeah. That's his name.
Yeah.
I actually, confession, he got killed in my playthrough.
Yeah, I mean, again, but he can die multiple ways.
That.
That's the thing. You can either he can either he can sacrifice himself, or he can get like killed by like the SWAT team, or it's cool. Anybody can die in any way or be saved in any way. It's like just all I'm gonna say is just if you play this game, choose your choices wisely.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have much time to make choices, but still though, I do really like. I would say like personally the best character story might. I don't know. It's either Marcus or Connor, because I really like the kind of dynamic between Connor and Hank, where it's like Hank's like pretty much he's like a douchebag, but like there are those times where he can be a lot more genuine and actually somewhat nice.
He's slowly, as long as you act right towards Hank, Hank will slowly become Connor's like BFF pretty
Like
much.
I remember this one part where like I think he was asking like a question after that, like him and Connor were like leaving like some sort of building, and like I think he asked the question of like, would you just act like like would you
Like a
just pretend to
human.
be, what was that?
He like was telling him to act human.
Yeah, or something like that. And I think
Yeah.
like would you rather be like go with be an android or go be a human? I think it was human, and he actually was like he actually liked that response. That made me feel warm inside.
Mm. Yeah, just make the right choices, you know.
But really, I don't really think we have too much else to say on the story and characters. It's pretty good.
Yeah, great, great story, great characters.
I mean,
Like
I
it's
don't really
not
want
like
to get too far into it because if you're watching this, you've already played the game or you haven't played the game, in which case you should play it. But we'll get into that later. So now
Mhm.
moving on to the gameplay, and I don't really have a lot to say on gameplay because like you can move around and stuff like that, and there's obviously like the investigating stuff. You have to do like various maneuvers with like the control stick to do stuff like opening a door or picking something off of a shelf or something like that. And like there is like some puzzle solving, but like the puzzles can diverge since again multiple paths. So
the
like
PlayStation touchpad makes it feel a lot more immersive when you
I
gotta
do
like
really like how they
make
did
the
that. I
swipe.
really liked how they handled the touchpad in the game.
Mhm.
I really like that. I don't really have much to say. The only real thing is that maybe it would have been cool if like this is just a maybe. It would have been cool like if the three protagonists all had their like own unique kind of like way of like I guess like kind of like functioning. Like maybe like if Connor played differently than like Car or something like that. That would have been somewhat cool, but like even then that's a very, 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 very small thing.
Yeah.
It gameplay's good. There's not too much to say about it though it is pretty replayable though because of again the multiple endings.
Mhm.
Now you take over.
No, like honestly, NCS, you said a lot about it. So gameplay is just, like
It's
it's
nothing like
literally
spectacular, but this isn't a game based around
yeah.
gameplay. It's about
The
the
gameplay
story.
that's where I will say the gameplay is just like any Telltale game. That's the like I don't want to compare just to a Telltale game because the options are more like open than the because Telltale games there are a lot of like I said options that'll give you different outcomes, but Detroit just has a lot more. But in
Yeah.
terms of gameplay, I feel like it's pretty much, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, it feels the same. Only difference is because it's a PlayStation exclusive, they use the PlayStation 4 DualShock controller, the touchscreen. They use that as
The
an advantage when
touchpad, they make it really good.
I mean touchpad, yeah, sorry. To like swipe certain things.
Yeah.
Like there's like since it's like set in the future, there's like these magazines that like you just like swipe
you pick
through.
up
So
and then
like
you
you
just use
actually
your finger. It's so cool.
yeah.
Like you're touching an actual tablet.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. There's times
gameplay.
where you actually have to like move like I think there's like times where you gotta like actually either shake the controller or like swipe the controller in like certain spots, if I'm correct, if I remember that.
Huh?
I know Until Dawn they did something similar where like you'd have to like you'd have to like not even move the controller at all. Or you'd like have to just stay still. It's kinda like that if you've ever played Until Dawn. When it comes to like the controller, it's kinda like that. Like
Or
another game.
since they're both Sony exclusive games.
Yeah.
But yeah. So kind of moving away from the gameplay, and we can talk about this very briefly because we kind of already went over this. The controls of this game are perfectly fine. I don't think I have anything to really say. Moving on. Moving on to the content of this game. Now I don't know how much you paid for the game, but I paid like I think $20 for it. You get quite a bit, I would say.
The funny thing is I didn't really pay anything. It was free for me.
Oh, you probably got it for PlayStation Plus. See,
Yeah.
I'm an idiot and want a physical stuff. But the thing is, like the game, like I don't remember how long it like takes to beat the game. I think it's only like maybe like 7 hours or something like that, give or take. Probably a little longer than that. I'll actually like look at it right now just because I got my PlayStation 5 on, so we'll just see how...
It does feel like a show, but I'm like saying that in the best way. Like it does feel like a long season of a show, but like it's
Pretty
really,
much.
it's perfectly, everything is like really paced well.
9 hours for me. That's how long it took me to beat the game. 9 hours.
Mm.
So yeah, like it. But then again, there's so many endings you can get and whatnot. So like, really, I really don't have too much to say on it. Content-wise, good. Now moving on to the soundtrack, and I don't really have too much to say on the soundtrack. Do you?
I actually, now when it comes to soundtrack in general, like whether video games, movies, shows,
Honestly, Sony never really has soundtracks that stand out to me that much.
I really enjoy listening to certain soundtracks of like, even if it's not, I don't, when I say soundtracks, I don't mean just like songs that like licensed songs that they got in like a movie or a show or a game. I also like listening to just like instrumental, like, you know, like kind of like Hans Zimmer type kind of, you know, that I just like, you know, that music is just really like good. And because like it's also good to use in like for background music for like videos as well, or just like, you know, if you want to like make something like dramatic. I feel like Detroit Become Human has like a lot of good tracks. Like one of my favorites is I really don't know the name for this one, but it plays in the mission where basically you play as Marcus and you hijack this like TV station basically, and
Oh yeah.
and it plays right when you jump out and you know you use the parachute and you escape the tower. That like
It's so cool. I love that scene.
If you look up that part and you'll hear the soundtrack, you'll know what I'm talking about. I also like the soundtrack where you're interrogating the dude as Connor.
Yeah.
Because there's like a guy that you find in like this attic, and you take him back and you have the choice to either interrogate him peacefully or you know, not peacefully.
Aggressively.
If you choose to do it aggressively, then that's where you get like that like dark and deep like music that comes in and shit. Like I don't, the soundtrack, yeah, it's not like anything like too great. I'm not gonna go on about it, but like there's some, you know, good, you know,
there is probably some good stuff.
suspenseful tracks, you know, probably give you chills. Another one, so I just want to bring up one more. The protest, the music that plays the protest scene where you're with Marcus and you're gathering a bunch of androids and you're just walking the street. That one's really good too. But yeah, that one always gives me chills when I listen to it. Yeah. But what about you, NCS?
I don't really have too much to say, so pretty much moving on to the final thoughts on this game. Now, I'll start first. I think this game is really, really solid. I'd say that it's like really like I know it will probably never happen, but a sequel would be really nice to see.
Yes.
I know it won't happen, but I just think it would be kind of cool.
Well, because sequel would be really hard to make because
there's too many different things.
Yeah, exactly. And to open the game, it's not like, you know, they would have to, you know, how much work they're going to have to put into like, be like, oh, what ending did you get? Or, I mean, because, you know, there's like, you can get, you know, there's 28 endings, but you said 28, right? Sorry.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe even more. I don't know. But there's like a lot of endings. So like it doesn't, unless what they could do, but I feel like this would still make certain fans upset because it would make it feel like their work was worthless in the end. They could just make it seem like only one of those endings was canon, which I don't know how many fans are going to like that. I probably wouldn't like that.
But really, though, like, even so, though, this game is absolutely amazing. If you have a PlayStation, buy it. Or maybe they'll eventually someday port it to PC. I don't know. But this game is really, really solid.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like, so going back, though, I will say this. Even if they can't make a sequel, they should definitely make another game just like this. They've
made stuff like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, I think.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
I was gonna compare Detroit to Heavy Rain, but the thing is, Heavy Rain, like, it was decent. I only played a little bit of it. My only issue with that game is the acting. I only say that because
acting's horrible.
I'm sorry. I don't want to just just destroy a video game just because it has terrible acting. I mean, look at like Fallout and Skyrim. They have terrible acting, but they're great games. But the thing is with a game like Heavy Rain, is
That game tries to be
if
serious, and it's like it just doesn't work when
because
the
the game
action's not.
when the game is based off like all story, when the game is more story based, it's hard to take that shit seriously when all the characters act like they don't even give a shit about anything. Like the father is like, oh, my kid got kidnapped. I'm so depressed. Like that's literally like how he sounds. Like in Detroit, like there's more. You feel these characters. Like
Well,
I'm
they
not gonna lie,
definitely
the
had a
game.
lot more going on with
There
like
were times
the
in the
acting.
game where I actually shed a tear in Detroit Become Human just because of like how real the characters felt to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, I would say so. But like, going into your final thoughts, though.
Again, just it's a great game. It's not a game for everyone. I don't want to just
Yeah, it's
just
not
because
for
I love.
everyone per se, but like, I still think you should give it a shot if you like.
I feel like you should, if you're into those type of games where like your choices have consequences and stuff like that, definitely give this one a shot. Or if you're just into like games that are just like story driven, then yeah, this game definitely good. It's a really great story driven game. Like again, like if you're just like detective games and shit like that, Connor's like his levels are gonna, they're gonna be there for you.
Good.
If you're, again, all those three characters, they have a little bit something for everyone, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, you don't know how my scaling works, so we're going to use the 0 out of 10 scale. From 0 worst to 10 best, what do you give Detroit Become Human?
Honestly, again,
8.
I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. Just
I
because
can
of like,
definitely see why.
I'm sorry. That game did mean a lot to me, though. Detroit Become Human did mean a lot, only because I played it while I was going through COVID, and it actually helped me a little bit. And I was also going through a rough time as well. So like, that game,
Yeah,
like,
I didn't play the game during that kind of time.
but no, that game just really like helped me, like just chill and shit when I was going through like the toughest time, because like I was just so immersed in the story, I completely forgot about like shit outside. I just completely forgot about the outside world, about like my stress and shit, and like it just helped me. Like that's honestly like probably one of the few times video games do that, because usually video games, whenever I play video games, they don't always do that. I know some people does that, but for me, video games just every time if I'm stressed about something, I play a video game. If I'm really stressed about something, like really stressed, it'll still be with me. It'll be hard for me to enjoy the game. But if it's something like a story-based game, I'm gonna be so invested, I'm probably just gonna like forget about what was stressing me out. So that's why I really
Wait,
enjoyed
man, that's why
Detroit.
rhythm games exist.
Yeah, true.
To play those so that way you can escape reality with Hudson and Miku. But I've been playing a bit of Project Eva lately, but that's besides the point. But I would give the game an 8. Like, I still think the game is really, really solid. You should give it a shot. But I just say, like, on personal scale, I wouldn't put it, like, super high. It's a really, really good game. But then again, though, it is more of a movie than it is a game.
It's not like I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I really feel like video games have every right to get like, I know there are people out there that complain about video games getting, too experimental. Like there's like, oh, now like Telltale games or just games like these where it's like, oh, it's like I'm not even playing a game. It's just like I'm watching a movie. Like I feel like I don't mind that anymore, because people act like, oh, you're not even doing anything, but you really are. Like everything you do in these games actually.
Detroit Become Human. It's just that, like, as a game, I don't know.
You're the main character no matter what. Even though this game may be about Connor, maybe about Marcus, maybe about Carr, you're still the main character because you control them. Because you're the story.
To be honest, the main reason the game isn't higher up is just because I don't have like the same connection into it like you did. Like I'm a little strict when it comes to putting games at like 8.5 or above, because that's kind of when they become like some of my favorite games.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, that's pretty much all I've really got for this review. If you have any small things you want to add on before we
I know this review may seem late, obviously, but think of this more as like
kind of all over the place, but it was still fun to make, though.
Think of it more as we're revisiting this game, pretty much. Or for people who just haven't played it or just have
So that is pretty much it for this video. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and your channel. Now it's time to plug your stuff and whatnot. I'll leave it's time for you to plug your stuff.
Oh yeah, my channel is MGM Productions. Link will be in the description below. I just want to thank NCS for putting me in this video. I appreciate that.
I've wanted you in a video for so long, but it's just hasn't happened yet. So very glad we were able to do this together. So yeah, thanks for watching, and let us know in the comment section what you think of this game, and if you want to see my dude in here a little bit more. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.